Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating case study that looks right at the heart of teacher preparedness for artificial intelligence in the classroom. We're keeping things sharp with a clean, high-contrast blue and white style today, so let's just dive right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Greater than 50%. That is the immediate reality we're dealing with. Recent survey data shows that over half of Canadian post-secondary students are already using AI agents, like ChatGPT, to crank out their assignments or study for tests. It's not some distant, futuristic scenario. It is happening literally right now in classrooms everywhere. But right here is the core conflict of our explainer today. While students are adopting these tools at lightning speed, we have this stark reality from a 2023 study by DeAndrea. Educators largely remain underprepared for this task. So we've basically got this massive tidal wave of student adoption crashing straight into a brick wall of educator unpreparedness. Section 1. The AI education gap. So when educators aren't trained on AI, the major concerns really start to pile up fast. First off, AI models like ChatGPT have this known habit of just making things up, fabricating completely fake information, which experts call hallucinations. They can generate plausible but entirely bogus academic citations out of thin air. Add to that the severe risks to academic integrity and the fact that most educators simply lack the formal pedagogical training to manage it all. Well, you can easily see why the stakes here are incredibly high. Section 2. Testing AI in the classroom. Let's move to the actual research and see how this builds. To figure out what teachers actually need, researcher Rob Power took ChatGPT and put it directly into the hands of a group of graduate education students in a critical issues course. Here is the four-stage methodology they used. First, they developed prompts to generate a full academic essay using ChatGPT. Second, they didn't just casually read it, they systematically picked it apart, reviewing it for factual errors, omissions, and formatting glitches. Third, they presented a formal critique of the AI, complete with recommendations for educational leaders. And finally, they revised that AI-generated essay based on their findings. It was a completely hands-on test of the AI's limits. Section 3. The Chat-T Survey Instrument. Now, before we look at the results of that test, we really need to understand how they measured confidence in the first place. What is Chat-T? Well, it stands for the ChatGPT Teacher's Sense of Efficacy Scale. It's a specialized survey instrument designed to measure how confident educators feel across three specific domains: student engagement, instructional strategies, and classroom management when using AI. It was actually carefully adapted from the really well-established Ohio State TSES instrument, which allowed the researchers to accurately gauge how capable these teachers felt using AI both before and after the hands-on exercise. Section 4. Surprising self-efficacy findings. Now, what's really interesting about this data is the mean change. You would naturally expect that giving teachers hands-on training would make them feel more confident, right? But look at those numbers. Their confidence actually dropped. There was a sharp 1.13-point decrease in student engagement efficacy and a 0.81-point drop in instructional strategies with AI. They legitimately felt less capable after the training. I want you to pause for a second and just ask yourself this critical question. Why did hands-on training actually lower their confidence? I mean, they had direct exposure, guided practice, collaborative critique, and the end result is a drop in self-efficacy. Why in the world would direct exposure make these teachers feel less capable? Well, the answer lies in their open response data. The teachers' confidence dropped because they realized just how complex, biased, and frankly flawed the AI output actually is. They recognized some really deep issues with AI bias and a glaring lack of trusted sources. They realized the absolute urgent need to completely rethink how they evaluate assignments. But most importantly, they understood that AI is a tool, it's not a teacher, and students simply cannot take AI information at face value. So, in short, getting that actual hands-on knowledge made them realize just how much more they needed to learn. Section 5. The Pedagogical Solution. So, the crucial point is this. Educational institutions absolutely must move beyond just drafting basic AI policies. They need to provide formal professional development that is actually focused on pedagogical applications. Learning basic technical skills like, how to type in a prompt, it just isn't enough anymore. Teachers don't just need to know how the software works. They need explicit, formal training on the pedagogy of teaching with AI. They need to learn how to be the orchestrators of student engagement and critical thinking in this completely new AI-driven world. I want to leave you with this final, energetic question to really challenge your thinking. How will your institution move beyond basic AI policies to provide actual, meaningful pedagogical training? Because just setting rules, that isn't cutting it anymore. If we genuinely want educators to confidently navigate this AI education gap, it is time to completely rethink how we train them. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep asking those tough questions.